Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the step-up spawn for the monster Virtuous Nobility that just came out today. So let's get into this. Okay, so this monster is going to hit with the Nobility power of 140, 36 times for magic damage. It's going to be water with a success value of 70. So not all the hits are guaranteed to actually hit. It's also going to have a success value of 70. It's going to prohibit Unison for 60 seconds for all enemies. It's going to remove status elements. It's going to increase physical and magical ability power by 60 for 60 seconds. The actual buff limit is 40, so it's going to increase the buff limit for physical and magical attacks by 20. So that right there is how that's going to happen, the 60. It's also going to increase cost recovery speed, and then it's going to cast Kinjin as well. And if you get it to its second awakening, it's also going to increase the Unison gauge of all allies excluding yourself by 20. So that is pretty much what the monster does and everything surrounding it. So with this monster, this is not top tier for sure. This is not top tier, but this definitely can be a helpful monster. All surrounding scenarios and situations, but it's really depending and really yeah, like I said, it really depends, to be fairly honest. Okay, so with Coliseum, it prohibits Unison, and if all the moves certainly were certain to hit, that could be some pretty heavy damage as well. So that's where that comes into play, is the fact that it prohibits Unison, so it could absolutely be clutch in like the dorms or Coliseum. And on top of it, the ability it has is also going to, it also does pretty good damage. So those right there are where it's going to be useful in Coliseum. Now with the rest of the stuff that it has, I just want to let you know, just to keep in mind for you all, if you have a hunter with not a hunter, an archer with hunter song, which usually would be the case, it gives a 20 ability power buff. So this monster's ability that it actually gives to make your attack stronger isn't exactly needed for neither player versus an enemy or guild battles whatsoever, because if you got archers with hunter song, you're pretty much good. I mean, there will be a 20 ability power difference considering the buff limit gets increased due to the monster, and it does a little bit extra, but it isn't all too needed. It's literally only a 20 difference if you already have archers, and you can get this buff right off the bat, and it will be consistent. You only need to use the monster over and over to keep an ability power buff. Your archers either exchange will have it, so it's going to be a consistent thing throughout the whole battle. Unless you get like karma, then you might have to like reverse it, then it's going to be consistent again. But anyways, I just want to make sure you all know that before I go further, because what I will be talking about, you might want to consider this and take this in complete consideration, what I'm going to be talking about. So this monster for sure is good for, you could use it for guild battles or player versus enemy. For player versus enemy, it does good damage. The ability power buff helps with attacks or remove status elements. Now there are better choices out there for monsters instead. Example would be like Blessing or like Hero, or like monsters that like remove status elements every 10 seconds for 50 seconds. Stuff like that would be a lot more useful, but it does help at least for sure. A little bit at least. And then it's going to increase cost recovery speed. Out of all cost buffs that you could have, cost recovery speed would probably be the worst. Of course, like if you are only getting 15 costs, then cost recovery speed would be better, but like if it's 20 costs, is debatable, and if it's over 20 costs, well 25 costs that is, then I would say recovering raw cost would be definitely a better choice instead of cost recovery speed. It's also going to apply Kinjin on top of it, so it's going to be like Piercer. It's going to give like that max HP increase, all the stuff that's mainly here, including the second ability. It's going to be really helpful for player versus enemy. And as for guild battles, will this be useful for guild battles? As a Unison haste monster, like if you're a treasure hunter trying to get Unison really quickly in the first round, no, absolutely not. Or a soldier perhaps say. But if you manage to use this after the first round, like for Unison rounds over and over and over, yeah, this monster could come in handy, but keep in mind the hunter song thing again will be applying and what's so not. So is not probably going to be as useful. But, I mean, you are getting that 20 ability power buff, so honestly, for sure, devastating damage. If you ever want to test it out, grab a Unity. Unity is going to increase ability power too, but it's going to be through critical hits. So it's not going to be through Hunter Song. Well, I wouldn't say technically through Hunter Song. It's not going to work around Hunter Song unlike this one. You could use this one as well, and then use something like Michaela, or like the new monster over here, Wiz. They gives that 120% buff, and you're just going to be maxed out on buffs. You're going to be doing massive amounts of damage to their crystal. I'm talking like crazy amounts. Whoever you are, even if you are kind of like free to play, what's not, you managed to do that 3 combo right there. Very, very nasty. But anyways, that's pretty much the monster and everything surrounding it. So also, if it's not like meant for you, perhaps say you don't really need it, because again, there are better options out there for sure. This monster is not top tier. This monster is not a must grab or anything. It definitely can be helpful, but there are times where you could absolutely just like, there are better monsters out there absolutely to use, including 37 cost. Honestly, you don't even really need the monster, to be fairly honest. So if you don't like need the monster whatsoever, you can use it for awakening as well. If you are behind awakening wise, if you need awakening for 37 cost, or if you just want to save until you find a 37 cost monster instead that you want to actually have, you could do that and then use that as awakening, because if you find a monster you actually want their step up spawn is random stats. So if you actually find the monster you want instead, you could just save your gems for that. Don't worry about getting awakening material on this one. Worry about the one where you want the monster through the step up, because you're going to be getting random stats. So you're probably going to have to spawn a couple times before you get the actual stats you want. Anyways, let's get to the rest of the spawn. Okay, so this spawn is going to be 110 gems. 30 plus 30 equals 60. 60 plus 50 equals 110. It doesn't look like they're going to have too much rates in here, but that's okay, because what they have to offer is pretty good for 110 gems. I definitely say it could be worth it if, again, you're really interested in the monster, what's not. I personally love the attack animation. The monster's alright, but the attack animation, sweet. But I'm not going for the monster. Don't need it whatsoever. I don't think any of my guildmates really need it either, to be fairly honest, unless they don't meet a lot of archers, which I don't think would be the case. I think archers, lancers, those types of classes are the most seen around Unison League, but I could be wrong. It's going to guarantee 1 select defense gear and 1 select weapon. They're going to be of the... Oh, it is. Okay. They're going to be of the... It's going to be of 36 cost. 36 cost weapons, 37 cost armors, starting from Kaiser all the way down to 34 cost weapons and 35 cost armors. Definitely a nice guarantee. Minimum of 34 cost weapons and 35 cost armors, because honestly, just going as low as 32 don't make sense. They're kind of outdated. 34 are too, but 34 is a lot better than having 32 for sure, and it's just better overall for everybody, to be fairly honest. Well, not even like not whales, to be fairly honest, because whales don't need it, but if you are free to play, it's definitely going to be helpful for sure. And there's reflection reductions here as well. So if it works like it usually does, the lower the cost, the higher the rates of whatever you're trying to get is going to pop out. And considering that the lowest cost is reflection reduction, which is great for backline. If you are backline for crystal breaking, whatever, if you the one that does damage towards crystal, you hit a mirror guard and you're not prepared, like your team doesn't have piercer, having that 1 damage sent back at you is going to be very helpful. And reflection reduction, you're going to need 2 of them, but it's definitely going to do that, and it's definitely going to come in handy. And if you're fighting somebody that has reduction armor, having reflection reduction won't even do jack squat to you. It's going to take that damage that you should kill yourself with and just make it once, just straight up once. So that right there is very, very awesome that they're doing that, and the cost is going to be around that tier or threshold. So that right there is very, very cool. they could do that more often, definitely would be helpful, because they've been slacking on that. 32s and 33 costs guaranteed is not really attractive anymore in UL, and is outdated gear score wise. So that's pretty cool that they're doing that. So that's really all I gotta say about this step up spawn and everything surrounding it. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out. This is the AzureWrath, then I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.